Hi, Craig. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Don. Thanks. How are you?
Good. Thanks for talking to me today.
My pleasure.
So, tell me, how did you first happen to come to Mexico? Where are you from?
I'm from Boston, and in the early 2000s, I came on a punk rock tour throughout Mexico. And then years later, I was in Mexico City giving a presentation on one of my books. And you lived close by, and so you invited me.
Right.
I hopped on the bus, and we met.
Yeah. And then what made you decide to move here?
Well, after having nowhere to live for a year and a half in the United States, choosing to live my homeless life in Europe, doing fun stuff and creating a better life for myself, I recognized that I could live here in Mexico legally and safely
Hmm.
and afford it and be okay. So I made that decision, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Let's compare the U.S. and Mexico lifestyles.
Here I can have a much more peaceful life that people are accepting and kind and loving, that the society is slower paced, that people are more accustomed to things being a little more difficult or challenging, or things not being on time, or things not being perfect, and then they move on and they find peace in that. That's really how the society is.
Hmm.
And when you come from north of the border, like I do, and you end up here, it's a real culture shock.
Yeah.
Not so much as in the food's different, things like that, because that's fairly easy for me as a traveler of the world. But it was slowing down and realizing that I'm not so important like we're taught in the United States, where everyone's we Americans are the best and we're number one. And in fact, they don't think that here.
Yeah.
They just think you're a person like them,
Cool.
and come to the restaurant, wait like everyone else, deal with it. Sometimes things don't work out. Tomorrow will come. That's really the most beautiful part of coming from where I come from and landing here, and realizing that I can be part of this community, and I can be accepted, and I can contribute. And that right there is all the reason why I made the right decision to be here.
What do you do here? How do you spend your day?
I leave my house usually whenever I feel like it. I often sit out here.
Do you work? Are you a creative person
I'm a
or
writer, as you know, but a writer by default. And so I write some books. I try to share them with the world. But mostly what I do is just walk around, say hi to people, say hi to the cats. I adopted two cats, or maybe it's more accurate to say they adopted me. Hang out in my little beautiful garden that I'm surrounded by right now, all the beautiful plants. And I have friends that I've made, many of whom don't speak my language.
how do you do that then if you can't communicate? How do you communicate?
Smiling. I smile. I ask questions. I nod my head. I wave. I show interest. I try. I try to give out good energy. I try to let people know that I'm with them. I'm definitely not a tourist. I'm definitely not a privileged person, like many are from my home country, and it's pretty easy for people to see that once they know me a tiny bit. And I think it's my job to make sure that they have the opportunity to know me. So I have to do certain things, like I already shared a minute ago, how to connect, smiling,
Uh-huh.
expressing interest, asking questions, trying food. I want to be where I'm welcomed. And when I was deciding what I was going to do with my life 2 years ago, what I was going to do when I had nowhere to live, a good friend of mine in a state a few 100 kilometers north of here said to me, Craig, come to where you're wanted. And the truth is, for better or for worse, even if times are tough sometimes, even if we're in a pandemic, even if I don't speak the language, like no matter nothing, I want to go the very least where people embrace me and
Mm.
treat me with value
Yeah.
and are interested and curious about me and what I have to bring to the table, what I have to offer. And here, I'm not muzzled, much like most of us are back home. So
Hmm.
I embrace that reality that I can create, I can connect, I can develop, I can learn, I can grow, I can become. And one of the most beautiful parts of being in Mexico is that if you choose to be here, if you choose to be part of these communities, if you choose to embrace and connect and integrate, then you become part of this community. And how you look is much less important than who you are on the inside. That is a truth that I can speak to, no matter what anyone anywhere wants to say different.
Thanks a lot, Craig, for sharing your life here in Mexico.
Peace.